Hello, our most developed student. My name is Confident and welcome to our 24-minute lesson. This is the ultimate guide in maths, science, career guidance, as well as a sneak peek in my personal experiences. This is a channel that is designed with you in mind. Let us dive into today's lesson. Hello once again, our most developed student. My name is Confident and welcome to the continuation of our revision session with Exponents, and we are continuing with 5.1.8. If you still remember the previous video, we did these questions. Now it means that if you missed out on this, it means you are not subscribed. Remember, I told you need to subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. So if you want to get hold of the previous video, that's where you're going to find the solutions to this particular question that we're doing. So for this one, we are looking at 5.1.8, says simplify without a calculator. So now, how do you approach such a question? It's 3 marks. It's a bit tricky if you are not careful, but you need to be very, very sensitive to a few things. Let me try to expand this just to show you why it's not really difficult. Yes, they don't want you to use a calculator, but your calculator again is your friend here. You have to take simple things like this. For example, that number. Yes, it's inside. Look at this. The square root is affecting everything inside. Do you see that? But take that, square root of 64. But remember, you don't need to show that you use the calculator. But if you take a calculator and you say, what is the square root of 64? You see, it's 8. But now the question is, how do you use the laws of exponents to show that you know that square root of 64 is what? Is 8. Remember the word square root, it means bracket what? To the power what? 1 over 2. Now you also need to know what is 64 as a square. It's a 64, it's a square and it's a number, so they are square numbers. So it's 8 squared. That you need to know. So that's what you're gonna have here as 8 squared. So that the 2 times half, you are now going to have that 8. You see that? And then next one, you need to know what is this 0.8. Forget about the outside square root for now. Look at what is inside. Take a calculator and say to yourself, what is 0.08? See, you're getting 2 over 25. And then also ask yourself, what is 0.64? You're getting 16 over 25. But this is what you do. You start and then you say 0.08 is equal to, remember when you multiply, it's 2 decimal places, you multiply by 2 over 100, right? Which is equal to, now they got 2 over 25. So you are going to say 4 there, it's 2, 4 into 100 is 25. So they've got 2 over 25. You do the same thing for 64, 0.64 is same as 64, because there are 2 decimal places, it's 2 zeros also. It's 1 and 2 zeros for these 2 decimal places. And then what did I get there? I think let's redo it again here. 64 over 100. See, I'm using the calculator. 16 over 25. So they used 4 here. It's 16. You cancel that, it's 25. Doesn't matter whatever I was using, but you see, you cannot tell I was using the calculator. Then with that done, you can now come in here. You can continue on this other one. This is part of your working, by the way. This is part of your working. And then you can say square root of 64 is equal to 8 squared to the power 1 over 2, which is equal to 8, 2 times half, which is equal to 8. Is it? So already you are trying to show that you know how to simplify square root of 64, which is 8 to the power 2 times power half, which is 8 to the power 2 times half, and 2 times half is 8 to the power of 1. So now you can then say equal to that question. You write that square root. Now 8, remember it's 0.08, you know that is 2 over 25, so you have 2 over 25, and then again over, which means I need to stretch my square root here, and then over what? 64 became what? 16 over 25, like this, and then times what? The times must be in here. Be careful where you put it, times 8. Are you with me? By the way, I made an error. Before you do anything, you need to take the calculator, and then with the calculator you need to find out the final answer to the all of this. So you take a calculator and say, what is the square root bracket 0,08 over 0,64 forward times square root of 64. We need to work towards something. We must know the answer. Think of it. The answer is 1. So this is all 1. So you don't have to think a lot and only discover that the answer was just 1. You see what I'm trying to say there? So it's very, very important then to always have use your calculator to your advantage. That's what I'm saying. So now we move on here and say, how do we simplify this guy? This is what you do. I know we haven't done fractions, but you need to know that this you're going to say 2 over 25 divided by, we're using this line. This is the division line. So divided by 16 over 25, and then you're going to say times 8. Are you with me? It became too big now. See what I did? And then you say equal to, do the same thing. You say 2 over 25. Now you convert this division to times. The moment you do that, this 25 here goes on top, the 16 goes to the bottom. So you'll have what? 25 over 16. See, when I change division to times, that's what happens. And then times 8. That's when you can now cancel out. Don't cancel out when it was division and times at the same time. And don't multiply with the 8 before you convert that sign. Then at this stage you can see 25 can cancel this 25, and then after that this 2 can cancel the 16 at the bottom to give us 8. You see that? And then what we have, it's same as saying square root of, at top is 1, it's 1 over 8 times 8, and 1 over 8 times 8, again you cancel to give us a 1. So the answer is square root of 1, and what is square root of 1? Is simple 1. Hence that answer was what? It was 1. It's a very, 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 very important question. If they bring it in your exam, it can shake you a bit, but practice it. I give it to you again. Try it on your own now. See whether you can get to the answer, and yeah, give me your feedback. See if you can get to the answer. Alright. Next one. Remember guys, this is a revision session. These are different questions that you can expect in your exam. Say simplify without a calculator. They're like that. But whenever there is x and x, obviously I can't use my calculator fully, but look at this. They gave me a bracket and they gave me a bracket, but the other bracket is 2 marks. The other bracket, the important thing is got what? It's got this -2. You know what it means? Look at this. So we have got minus 2x squared in that bracket, but the second one, it means I've got, you can do this actually, minus 2x. Okay, let me do this first before remember this rule. Let's use laws. Remember the rule which says a to the power negative m. If it's negative, what you say? 1 over, and then it's a to the power positive m. Now the m was negative on top, it becomes positive when you say 1 over. That is what is going to happen here. So you're going to say in there, which means it's 1 over, that's the best one. Then you take it to the bottom, which is, now don't change that negative because it's in bracket. You remain as -2x x, the one that is changing is that 2 only. Do you see that? This particular 2, what was it? This negative 2 exponent, it was negative. Now what is the sign? You see that is positive now. It's at the bottom. That's the main part there. But if you are writing it properly, this is like over 1. If you are writing it properly, you'll be having minus 2x squared over, because this is times also, is minus 2x bracket squared. See, that's what you're having, which is equal to, you see, you can continue now. Ask yourself, what is this squared? It means it's minus 2x squared over, now it means there are 2 of them, minus 2x times minus 2x. That's the best way you could have approached this. Well, it's more of exponents, but at the same time you can deal without really being strictly on exponents. Now look at this, negative 2 cancels negative 2. Now don't forget x squared. X squared is simple as saying what? If you see that x squared, what does it mean? X squared, it means x times x. You remember that? That's what x squared means. It means x times x. Alright, so if it was x times x, look what I'm saying. You can now cancel this x and that x, that x and that x. You see that? That's what it means. But since I left it as x squared, I can say cancel 1 and cancel that x, cancel the second one because it's now 1, and cancel that x is still allowed. So what do I have now? I've cancelled everything on top. Don't say nothing. On top now, when you're cancelling, you get 1, 1. So you have got 1 over. Okay. At the bottom, what do I have is minus 2. So the answer is equal to, if you say 1 over minus 2, check with the calculator, it's negative 1 over 2. Okay. That is that. And then apologies guys, it's raining outside, so if you hear this kind of some hashing noise, you just know that it's because of rain, and I'm sorry I couldn't help it at the moment. I just have to bring this to you. Look at this one. Simplify without a calculator, 4 marks. Very, very, very good marks. You can't afford to lose this. Look at this, not complicated. You just need to take it one step at a time. Understand the rules one step at a time. Let's start with the first one. What does this 3 mean? This 3, it's same as saying the log a to the power m. Before that one, it's a times b to the power of m. Remember what it does? This m will come and multiply and come and multiply. It multiplies there. So it will be a to the power m, b to the power m. Remember that. Same thing, it will go in there, 5 to the power 1 and that. But what about this 2? The 2 will do the same thing. It will go to the 2, it will go to the x, it will go to the y. Now, if I can rewrite this, this is what I'm having. If I'm to write this statement here, this is what I'm having. Sometimes I prefer writing it like this. 5 times x to the power 3. You can put a 1 there to show that you multiply, times y times bracket 2 times x times y squared bracket to the power 2 all over 15. Alright, but now with 15, it's up to you, but you can use the calculator so that you don't waste time. Say 15 is equal to shift effect, as I told you, you'll get that is 3 times 5. Why am I doing that? Because I want to deal with 5. And then times x to the power of 5 times y to the power of 2. As I said guys, apologies, it's the rain outside, nothing fun on the sound, it's just the rain, and unfortunately the lesson is already on. So now when I've done that, look at this, it will be 5 to the power 1 times 3, which is 3, and then 1 times x
which is x to the power of 3 times y times, I do the same thing with 2, there is a 1 there, there is a 1 there. 2 times 1, it's 2. Remember, this 2 is the now multiplying, okay? So 2 times 1 is 2 times x. 1 times 2, it's 2 times y. Now look at y. Y is different now. It's 2 times 2. Now what is 2 times 2? 2 times 2 is what? It's 4. That's why I'm getting that 4 here. Are you with me? All over 3 times 5, alright, times x to the power of 5 times y to the power of 2. Now it's up to you how you want to do this, but I will encourage you to, this is 5 to the power 1, 3 to the power 1, 3 to the power 1, 5 to the power 1. This is what I will encourage you to do. When you're working with this, it's better now to take, remember this rule, let me put it here, this rule to say 1 over a to the power m is equal to a to the power negative m. It's better to take everything to the top if you want, but if you're taking everything to the top, you can go and subtract it, or beside this rule, actually let me use the division one, it's much better. If I say a to the power m over a to the power n, remember the division one, it's a, because it's dividing same base, it's m minus n, remember that one. Let's use that. So you can look at 5 here, see this 5, you can apply the rule and say 5 to the power of 3 minus 1, see that, times, do the same thing, okay, 5. Alright, let me not do it now. Let's first look. I'm seeing that on top we still have a few things to do on top. Let's first look at this. I've got that, I've got that. Let's collect them together. So it's 5 to the power of 3 times x to the power of 3 times x to the power of what? Of 2 times y, which is power 1 there, times y to the power 4, if you're not given anything, is power 1, over 3 to the power 1 times 5 to the power 1 times x to the power 5 times y squared. Okay, so let's look at this now. This is the other law. The first one, a to the power m times a to the power n. Remember, when I'm multiplying, I add m plus n. Multiplication means add. That's the first thing I need to do on top. That's why I had to stop that that method. So 5 times x to the power, now 2 and 3 and 2, it will be 3 plus 2. What is 3 plus 2? It's 5. Are you seeing that? So you can, for the sake of time, you must write 3 plus 2, then the next stage you write 5. And then times y to the power, now y and y is 1 plus 4. You write that for the stage, but me, I'm just going to write it y to the power 5 all over, are you with me, 3 times 5 to the power 1 times x to the power of 5 times y to the power of 2. Are you with me? Then it's much easier now. I can even cancel this. Look, if it's the same, x to the power 5, x to the power 5 can simply go. Now I can use this rule. When it's dividing, what do? I subtract. Look at the 5. It will be 5 to the power of 3 minus 1 times, then you look at y to the power of 5 minus 2. But because this I've dealt with them, but 3 I didn't find anything, I still maintain it and say over 3. There was nothing I couldn't take on top for 3, which is equal to 5, 3 minus 1, it's 2 times y, 5 minus 2, it's 3 over 3. See that? Which is equal to, it's up to you, 5 to the power of 2, you can leave it like that, or you can say 5 squared is 25 y3 over 3, y to the power of 3 over 3. That can be the final on that. Alright, and then let's look at this other one. And let me see before my time. I think my time won't allow me to do the sorry about that. I wanted to do more of this, but I'm looking at my time. I wanted to do this one, I wanted to do this one. Okay, so time doesn't allow me, guys, so I need to stop here, and then in the next lesson I'll try to do 5.21 as well as 5.22 and 5.23. Again, it's still revision. We still got a lot of revision to do. There is still more questions that I will want to then to do them though on your own. Then you'll send me some feedback and tell me how did you go about this. So I'm here to give you these questions, but before that also we are yet to finalize this scientific notation. So there's quite a lot that we need to do on this part, and then there are examples that we need to work. But now join me in the next lesson where we continue with 5.2.1. We've come to the end of our lesson. Thank you.